In this video, you will learn how to add a schedule and a calendar to an IP controller. You'll also be able to give the FX supervisor the ability to update the IP controller schedules. And finally, we'll set up the automatic time sync for the IP controllers.
The FX PC IP controllers all support the same advanced functionality as the traditional PCA controller. So in this case, I have a VAV application and I want to go ahead and add a schedule to it. So I simply go down to the features selection and select advanced. Now, under scheduling, I can go to schedules and add a schedule, go to calendars and add a calendar. Now I have calendars and schedules built into my PC controller. And what I'll want to do here is go to the new calendar, edit that, and let's give it a name of holiday calendar. And now I can go ahead and add some dates to that. And to select the holiday dates, I simply check the boxes. So in December, I'll select New Year's Eve. I'll go and select Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Maybe over here I'll select Thursday and Friday of Thanksgiving for holidays. And now I can save that. And hit the apply button. Next, I want to go to the schedule. And in the schedule, I'll change the name. And in this case, let's call it VAV schedule. And I can go ahead and actually add a point. So first thing I'm going to do is go to the scheduled items. And all I'm going to do is schedule the occupancy scheduled input. So if I go aux schedule, now I can go ahead and schedule the present value of the occupancy for my VAV box. And that automatically derived the enumeration set from that key item. Next, let's go to the weekly schedule and add some information to it. So I'll select Monday through Friday, and we'll do 1,800 hours, let's say. And at 1,800 hours, I'm going to go to the unoccupied mode. Now I'll do another Monday through Friday, and we'll do at 6 a.m. to the occupied mode. And now I'll go from back to unoccupied in the morning. And I'll also switch this over so that the default value is unoccupied on my schedule. I'm still going to go ahead and add a schedule for Sunday. In this case, I want it to be unoccupied, say on Saturday and Sunday. So now I have my schedule, and I can go to my exception schedule. And here's my exception lists. I'm going to go ahead and choose the calendar reference. And in this case, I'm going to go and add an unoccupied for all the holidays. Now I can save this. And transfer it down to my device. We use the direct Ethernet connection. I'll choose the VAV controller and finish the download. Download's complete, so I'll enter the commissioning mode. Now I can go into test mode and right click on that controller and then command the time and date. So I can set the time and the date using the commissioning mode. I'll get out of this test mode now and switch over to the supervisor. Now I'll discover for my IP network and add the new IP controller. Real quickly, I can use the import manager to add all the proxy points into graphics. Next, I'll go to the IP controller and select the schedules. There are two different tools you can use to import the schedule. The first is the BACnet Schedule Import Manager. If you use this, you can only view the schedule in the IP controller. For the ability to write to the schedule, you'll need to use the BACnet Schedule Export Manager. Now we can discover the schedule and the calendar in the IP controller. Select the schedule, add it to the network, and then choose a schedule that you have created in your supervisor to bind it to. And that's done by choosing the component chooser under Facility Explorer and the link folder. Next, I'll add the holiday schedule. And again, bind it to a calendar in the supervisor. Lastly, I'll quickly execute or actually read from the schedule in that controller to pull that information that I have in the controller into the supervisor calendar and schedule. Now we can go to the calendar, select it, and notice that the calendar we created in the IP controller is now existing in the supervisor. Next, let's look at the occupancy schedule. And again, here's the schedule we created in the supervisor. Let's select one day here, and maybe delete this event, and let's add some other stuff here. So I'll just go, this was unoccupied, so I'm going to go ahead and add a occupied state, save it, then go to the schedule into the controller, again in the export manager, and send that new schedule or export it, either way, down into the controller. We have commissioning mode working now, so we can go into that calendar, the schedule, and take a look at the schedule that exists. And let's take a look at the weekly schedule. And now on Saturday, we have the occupancy time included in our schedule. Back in the supervisor, we can do another time sync on the IP controller at the BACnet device manager. To automate the process, we can go to the local device, open up the time synchronization recipients, and add a device using the device ID of the IP controller. Now, the time synchronization recipients will automatically update the time in the IP controller.